glitches?
We're all good. We are all good. I'm having profound confirmation on the stream and
All
otherwise
right.
that we have sound. So it looks like people can hear me and they can hear you, which
Or
is
they are continuing to troll, and the bit is just getting even better.
that's great. All right. Okay. Oh God. Right. Well, that took a while. Let's just crack on. Okay. Cool. So why are we here today? So we thought it would be a good idea to get together and just talk about the summary of the UK 2025 tournament season, and primarily focusing on the rankings that the Old World Rankings website displays of the top 24 players and what we think is probably the pinnacle of the Warhammer tournament scene, which will be the UK Masters, which will be held on the 9th and the 10th of January in Newcastle by the Forgotten North crowd. So what we wanted to do today is basically go through the top 24 ranked players in the UK, and have a look and see as to how they got there, what it takes to be a Masters player, whether any of those, whether there's any significant achievements there that we should call out, or maybe slate somebody's overinflated ranking, quite literally. Whatever, we'll see how it goes. And then we'll have a look and see how many of those players actually make it into the Masters itself. The Masters invites have gone out, so there are invitations sent out to the top 24. There's been a few people that have said they cannot make it for various reasons, and those have been passed down to the next highest ranked player, and it'll keep doing like that. That'll take a good few days to sort out. So what we can do is we can spend a bit of time with the people that we know are in the Masters, and then those that won't be able to make it, we won't concentrate too much on what they'll bring, because we know they're not going to be making it. So I think without too much further ado, let's crack into the Masters.
Yeah, fun to have a bit of an overview of the year and a chance to trash talk people before an upcoming event, which
Exactly.
I think is probably the most important aspect of this from my perspective.
Yeah, definitely. And I think all of this has to be taken with a pinch of salt, because it's all internet points. It doesn't mean anything. It's all just a little bit of banter and bragging rights. I don't know every single person on this list as well.
Given who's currently in number 2, we know that there's something fundamentally flawed with the way this is all calculated. But we make do.
We make do, exactly. It's not a perfect system. It's not a Chris and Pash 1-2. Maybe next year, who knows? Maybe we'll do that. But I don't know all of these players, and I think between us we know most of them. But we can't quite maybe comment on everybody. But it will be fun to try, right? That shouldn't stop us having an opinion. So hopefully you do that as well. Now, can you see my screen on this one? Is it showing up roughly where we're at?
No, cannot see your screen at all. Just the two of us.
Just the two of us, which, to be honest, is, if that proves things, hopefully that gives you a bit more visibility what I'm looking down as well.
Yeah, but it's just way too small for me to make out the text.
So. That's fine. I appreciate that will probably be the case for a lot of people. Let me try and just
if you just tell me what you're clicking on, and I can
let's
play
do that.
along at home.
Let's do that. So, just to update the people who are watching at home, if you haven't seen, or if you're not aware, there is a worldwide Masters. There's a worldwide rankings on a website called oldworldrankings.com. It's run by Gomo. He's an Australian guy. Australians are in every level of Warhammer ever. They seem to be going hand in hand with that. And even us have been not exactly pure non-Australian podcast. I think, as I understand, it's not a podcast unless you have an Australian on it at some point, right?
I believe you're not allowed to play Warhammer in Australia unless you have a podcast.
That's how I understand as well. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so the rankings as they are at the moment are locked in for the 2025 season. So up until the end of the year, this is pretty much how they'll be. As I understand it, anything played beyond now will pretty much count towards 2026 ranking. or whatnot. That's still to be confirmed, but that's roughly the plan going forward. So without further ado, let's crack on. Let's have a look at the first person, and that is at ranked 24. Just holding up the rest of the bracket, we have Albert James Barr. Let's have a look at Albert. So Albert has got, he seems to be mostly a Tomb Kings player. He's dabbled in a bit of Cathay, haven't we all?
But yeah, really, this is a consistent slate of Tomb Kings doing very well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, what were his ranked events? He did 96. That is the Welsh Open, where he came fourth. That's very respectable. In fact, I must have bumped into him then. I must say, by the way, and don't take offense to this, people, I am absolutely terrible with names and faces, and being able to recognize who I do know and I don't. I've probably spoken to you, and I can't put name to face, and that is my mistake. So apologies about that. So Albert did.
I guess the cool story here, I guess, is Albert needed the fourth place at the Black Country GT, the last tournament of the ranking season. Was what got him over the line into the top 24. So
that's right,
down to the wire. And I was just looking at the list that was used for it, and a fairly normal Tomb Kings list, but definitely doing some stuff that I like. Nehekran Phalanx on some warriors. I think that kind of thing looks really nice in the world of objectives we have. So yeah, I'll be expecting Albert to be playing more Tomb Kings if he does come to the Masters, because
and I think
that's been the weapon of choice.
I feel bad because I actually, just looking at the events that he's qualified with, 2 of them are ones that I've attended. So he's been to the London GT, and London GT he came. Oh God, where did he? He came 20th, but that still pipped him into it. At his third highest score was the Wild Hunt 2025. He came second at that, which is impressive. His second qualifier was the Black Country GT, like you mentioned. He came fourth at that as well, just missing out on the podium each time, it seems to be. And then his highest ranked event, which was the Welsh Open, where he came fourth at that as well. So plenty of near podiums for AJB, and looks like, I suspect,
and plenty of trophies in one day events as well.
So, well, exactly, yeah. So he's he's definitely won a few there now. I'm just looking at the list of people that we know are not coming, and it looks like he might in fact make it. So are we saying this one's probably going to be a Tomb Kings player?
I would be surprised if it wasn't, given the what's been used over the rest of the year. But
exactly.
I mean, always fun for someone to rock up with something out of left field for the Masters.
Exactly, and we should probably shall we mention the Masters comp now, just to outline how this would affect?
I suppose. I mean, the Masters comp is basically cap on balloons for Cathay, and then a bunch of restrictions and rules changes on various vampire things. Battle Standard Bearer's not working as well. Cap on Screams, cap on Ethereals. Basically, realization that once Cathay have been brought down, there's really nothing left to keep vampires in check. So now we have 2 armies that are getting comp hit at most events, I guess, or at least this looks like the way forward. And maybe at some point, a holistic composition system, maybe named after a popular Australian football style, might be a way forward.
But that's an unbiased opinion, of course, Chris. There's, that's not self-influencing at all.
I would never self-promote. That is the last thing that the Dwellers Below would stand for.
Of course.
Other podcasts that I have...
shameless self-promotion. No, that's true. But yeah...
I mean, at this point, it's self-promoting a long-lost YouTube channel that... hasn't had an upload in a while. Yeah,
that's all right. You're once a year. Your annual episode is probably due around about now, right? I'm sure we'll get one any day now. It'll come around.
We're in discussion on a move to a biannual format.
Nice. Is that? I'm guessing that's not twice annually. That is in fact once every other year.
Yes, and I think once we get up to the next deadline, we might make it triannual.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, cool. So basically,
Number 23.
number 23. Yeah. So yeah, sorry. Back to the Masters Comp. We have 0 to
Oh, yeah.
3 Ethereal, and it's 0 to 3 Screams. BSB doesn't grant you rerolls on undead. That's all the undead restrictions. Cathay, I think, is 0 to 1 character balloons, 0 to 2 non-character balloons, and cannons don't stack the movement debuff. And I think other than that, also the regen, you don't get the regen on Crumble. That's another one under this. But I think other than that, it's fairly uncomped. Like it's just the match play restrictions, the grand melee, whatnot. So I think it's fairly loose. Only really hitting the top armies a little bit there. Needs to be the touch there, right? I lost you there for a second. You still with us? Oh dear. It looks like the internet down under is not what it used to be. Right. Chris is just frozen. Oh my god. Alright. Let me just. Chris. At this rate, you might just have me, folks. Which is not the end of the world either. There we go. You're back. You're back with us. Back in the room.
Seems to be.
Roughly. All right. Okay, so let's move on. We now have number 23. Number 23 is Malik. Now, Malik is a known entity in the 40k scene. I believe he's basically won every Warhammer event ever done in 40k. But in the old world, he's a relative newcomer. I believe his first event was April this year. But in that time, he's done a very impressive showing. In fact, he's done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 events. And every single event, he's podiumed, usually with first or second place. So he's clearly a solid player. He's done a bunch of events in Orcs and Goblins, but then recently he's turned into the dark side of Cathay.
A gentleman and a scholar.
Yeah, he's a gentleman's gentleman. His highest scoring event was, I believe, the London GT, where it was Cathay Mortuary Cult Cathay, and I was partially to blame for that. His second highest event was actually with Orcs and Goblins, which looks like a 12-man event.
I think most of the rest is with Orcs and Goblins.
Okay. I can place it.
I think only 3 5-game events for the full rankings point. So Malik has done this on hard mode, where 3-game events are not worth as many rankings points, and so without even having a full complement of full scoring events, has still managed to
climb into that top 24. Yeah, that is quite impressive. I mean, Orcs and Goblins aren't exactly a terrible army, but they're not the top 3, right? And
it's been a while since they've been a dominant force.
Although, having said that, all apart from his Cathay results recently, all those other results were pre 1.5. So perhaps that might be a note. We lost you again. There we go. Very bizarre technical issues here, folks. There we go. You're back. I don't know what keeps happening, but it is. Maybe I've got too many things open. Maybe I should cut some of cut down what we can. Okay, cool. So that was Malik. Now Malik, I believe, has declined his invitation, so he won't be coming. So we don't need to spend too much time thinking about what he'll be taking, because he won't. So I think without further ado, let's move on to the next part. I think you've frozen again. Very bizarre. I'm using Streamlabs for this stream, and to be honest, folks, I'm not particularly impressed. Might have to spend some of that YouTube millions to get some better software, at least for the streaming. Yeah, really annoying. Really annoyed by this, I'll be honest. There he is, he's back.
Yeah, it might be my internet is really struggling. I don't know if it's just getting overloaded on the street or something like that.
I wonder. Callum is saying turn off your VPN. Maybe that's the issue.
Like I care about anyone checking my data.
Oh man, if only. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. All right, okay, so let's move on without further ado. We have, in 22nd, we have Tom Carley. Now, Tom is known to be mostly a Beastman player. He is all flavour of Beastman. Wild Herd, Beastman Bray Herd. He's got a Cathay flirt there, which he did for the WTC for Team England. But most of the rest of his results are Beastman up until basically last year. So I think pretty solidly a Beastman player, I would say. His top 4 results, highest one being Black Country GT, so he snuck in 5th place there. And his second highest was 2nd place at War for the Old World 4. Beastman as well. 3rd highest qualifier was Forgotten North, which was fairly recently as well. Ooh.
Yep, I played Tom there.
You played him then.
An absolutely devilish Wild Herd list.
Okay. And he came 8th in the end. Okay. And then last qualifying event for him was Forgotten North as well earlier on. And that was also one that you attended where...
Oh, yes. Sorry, I got them mixed up. There's too many tournaments called Forgotten North.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played Tom at the one in November.
Yeah, 16th. He came 16th there, probably.
Which, I mean, to be fair, he was doing really well, and I think lost the last round in a bit of a blowout in a matchup that I think is pretty swingy.
Okay.
But had,
bad luck.
Absolutely taught me a lesson.
Sure bugger. Okay, fair enough. Well, I think it's probably a fairly solid guess that he'll be bringing Beastmen of some sorts. Viletide spam is pretty good at the moment, right? Works into Cathay, works into maybe some flavors of Chaos and whatnot.
He's done well at the last 2 events, dropping, losing 1 game in 10 with Wild Herd. Okay. So I would expect his list to be pretty much unchanged.
Fair enough. Well, we'll put Wild Herd Beastmen in that case. Okay, cool. So the next highest ranked player is Ross Cooper. Now Ross is a known Tomb Kings player of different flavors. Although it does look like Warriors of Chaos, he decided to throw caution to the wind and bring Warriors. But I know he's played Warriors at other events as well. So Warriors or Tomb Kings, but I suspect his results will in fact be Tomb King based. Let's have a little look. His highest result was, if that's LGT. Yes, he came 2nd at LGT. I do remember meeting him in there. Sorry, his second highest result was 3rd place with Warriors. Okay, Old Summer Smash. 3rd highest result, Black Country GT, so that's the most recent one. Where he came 7th with Warriors. Okay, so it's 2 Warriors, 1 Tomb King. And then he won Battle for the Great North Road with Tomb King. So he's qualified with 2 Tomb King events and 2 Warriors ones. So it's probably 50-50 which one he'd bring, but my guess is Tomb Kings, right? I mean, given they're generally better army against the top armies. If you're facing only top armies, you're probably going to be taking Tomb Kings.
I guess it depends as well on what people expect the new magic items and the comp to do to mix things up.
Yeah.
I think the vampire players are going to have. I imagine their list won't change too much, but I expect that they will have to at least make some tweaks. But then some people, dragon players especially, are suggesting that dragons are unplayable now. So
Allegedly,
we'll see if that changes some people's minds. But I had a quick look at some of Ross's Warriors lists, and they weren't leveraging dragon spam. So maybe that is just a tool that Ross has that might show up. We'll see.
Might show up. So let's have a look. Yeah, like you say, magic items will help make a difference. So we're probably saying Tomb Kings, but maybe Warriors, if you're feeling fruity, depending on the new items. Okay, cool. All right, no bother. So the next one up, we have in 20th place, we have Bryn. Bryn Conway, the highest ranking Welshman, I believe. Even though his flag is not represented on this, but he is in fact from Wales. He has his own channel, as a lot of the people on these 24 do. Now Bryn is mostly, well, he is known as Bryn the Imperishable, so he is Tomb Kings all the way, and he's achieved his 4 with Tomb Kings of various flavors. He's even run Cetra once. He won Black Country GT2, which is impressive. Yeah, definitely impressive there. He came. Oh no, sorry, that's Ross. His second highest event was the Black Country GT just recently. Wait, hold on. Is this on the? Oh, this is the April one. This is the April one.
Yeah,
this is the first
so
Black Country. Yep.
2 Black Country events.
God, so many events with the same name, just with a number beside him, right? Yeah. So he came second at that. His third highest one was the Welsh Open, where that's actually impressive considering he ran Cetra last. He ran Cetra and he came 13th at that.
With 3 draws.
Yeah, very impressive. And then he won the Grand Joust 4 in Cardiff. A small 14-man event as well. Okay, so these are, fairly small events there, but plenty of games played. Now, Bryn won't make it to the Masters. He has declined. But I guess if he was coming, it would be Tomb Kings. And it's Tomb Kings that have taken him this far, and I can't imagine he would ever really change. Maybe he'll take something else another time. Yeah, I suspect that's probably as far as he's going to go. So well done to Bryn, top Welshman.
Once you name your YouTube channel after one army, that's probably the army that you're committing to.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's pretty much you. Okay, let's move on to number 19. We've got Jack Allen. Now, Jack, I believe, has actually played several armies. Brett's, he's won with Empire, he's won with Bretonnia, he's won with Skaven, which will be impressive. Yeah, he's played Bretonnia quite a lot. Now, this is actually quite interesting. I don't think I have bumped into Jack. Looking at his
these
events.
This is, I think, every single TSN event, it looks
Is it?
like. Yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, missed 6 and 8. But yeah, so Jack has been clearly playing loads of Rob's events down at the TSN and doing extremely well at them. Since May has lost 1 game in 4 events there, something like that.
Yeah, that's impressive.
With, as you say, Bretonnians, Empire, and Skaven.
Yeah.
My suspicion is that if Jack is trying to win the Masters, that Bretonnia is probably the best shout of these armies.
Yeah,
but
I would
if
say
Jack is trying to make a statement, rocking up with Skaven would absolutely do that.
True, and you could go take the middle ground. He could go with Empire. It's not entirely the worst choice. They can go quite cannon heavy, and everybody loves cannons at the moment. And perhaps within no Stomp banner, there's some play there. Or take Nuln as well. That's still one of the armies that has legs. But it's an interesting conversation piece. Because what we're seeing so far in these last 24 placings, last of the sort of bottom of the Masters placings, is there's a lot of smaller events are still getting you to the Masters. So if you win like a 14 to 20 man event, if they play 5 games, you can still that could still contribute to get you to the Masters, which is puts you within a shouting distance of the UK Master, allegedly the best player in the country. So it's an interesting conversation piece. It's definitely it's definitely something, isn't it? Oh, okay. So we got Matt in the chat. He's chiming in saying that he's taking Brett's. So it looks like Matt's got the inside scoop there. So yeah, it looks like Jack Allen will be carrying Brett. So I feel a bit more comfortable with that prediction. Okay, good. That's good. Okay, interesting. All right, so let's move on to the next highest ranked player.
Unless this is all some misinformation. Maybe this is just Skaven misinformation trying to, sow the seeds of doubt and then rock up with a bunch of gutter runners or Jezzails or whatever Skaven players
I mean, I don't
doing these days.
I don't think one Skaven player is going to throw off the whole meta for the Masters. I think if that would be the case, that would be absolutely legendary if he did take them. But if he fancies a shot of doing well at it, I think Skaven would just struggle, really struggle. But maybe with a no stomp banner, maybe with rerolling ones to wound on the charge, AP1, maybe these things are good. I don't know, but I wish him luck. I certainly do. Okay, so in 18th place we've got Luke Blacksell, the Doctor. He is mostly a Bretonnians player, but he has dabbled with Wolves of the Sea, and it looks like he's played a bit of vampires, but mostly of the renegade variety. Now,
I mean, it looks like the back half of the year, it's been no Bretonnians at all.
Yeah,
so,
good point actually. Since 1.5, it's all warriors or
going
VC.
beyond those. And I suspect that's not just a response to 1.5. I think it might also be a disillusionment with the Pegasus lifestyle.
Yeah.
From listening in on some of his another YouTuber listening in on some of his content, I suspect that also plays a role in that playing competitive Bretonnians is not really like playing what you think of as a Warhammer army, because it just sends 1,500 points of flying skirmishes in any direction. And in that way is a bit similar to playing competitive High Elves or Wood Elves or Dark Elves or Warriors or Cathay or half of the Tomb King's armies, which also just want to put all their points into flyers and ignore the movement rules.
And maybe that's the theme of these armies that do well, is if you have highly mobile chunk of points that is very difficult to get, then maybe that's how you win games. If you never lose and then you kill enough to win a game, then maybe that's how you do it. But yeah, just highlighting his success for the year. His highest ranked one was the Saffron Fantasy Slam, which he won with Wolves of the Sea. His second highest one was the LGT, and he took Wolves to that. I do remember him being there. He came 9th at that. His third highest was, in fact, the Black Country GT 2.0, the June event, which he came 6th at with Brett's. So he did actually take Brett's to that one, although that's June. And then the Black Country GT in April, he did come 7th with Brett's as well. So 2 of his qualifying have been with Brett's. Now, he has confirmed he's not making it to the Masters. Probably too far north for him. It's probably a bit too cold for these Southerners to come this far north. So he won't be making it. But yeah, congrats to making it to 18th. Look, that is an achievement, so well done. Right. Okay, so we're moving into the we're moving swiftly up the rankings, and we're getting to the toll. Our first toll, troll, and it is the nicest toll, some say, and it is in fact Sam Toll, who has come 17th this year, and he has jumped 6 places, which really cemented his rankings place here. Now, he has played a variety of armies. I remember him playing High Elves and a bit of Warriors, but I think he's pretty much known to be a vampire player. Every time I've seen him in the last 9 months, he has done vampires, I think, through and through, and he's just been plugging away at it.
I think you can really see the point at which Sam decided to try to make the Masters or win events and crush souls, which is, from Toy Soldier, which is where we started seeing the undead dominance start to manifest. Sam was part of the whole rank of top tables all having vampires on them, and he's been doing that since then, it looks like, and getting really good results on the back of that.
Now, this is an interesting point. Is actually looking at through his tournament history, he has this year only podiumed once. And that was the most recent event, the Forgotten North in November. That where he came second, undefeated. That must be said, 4-0-1. But all the rest of his events, he's placed really well, 6th, 7th, 10th. It's just not in that podium position. So you can see like he has sort of committed to it, but just struggling to get into that top 3 a lot of the time. And I think as I understand, he's basically having to face one of his siblings or dad at some point in the event. It seems to be every event that I see with the tools, they have to play each other at some point or another. And
when they're making up a third of the field, that's inevitable.
That's probably fair. And that's just the ones that they brought with them. I hear there are more tools. We just don't know about them. So Sam's highest ranked event was, in fact, the recent Forgotten North. That's the podium placing in second place. That's secured him the solid place in the rankings. His second highest one was the Welsh Open. I remember he was at that as well. And he, in fact, came 11th with VC. His third highest one was the Durham GT back in July. So this is just after 1.5, I think. He came 6th at that with Wood Elves, which actually is really quite impressive. And then his fourth qualifier was the Toy Soldier, which we were both at, where Sam came 7th with his VC. I mean, that was a VC heavy type event as well, so it was quite hard to get more than that. So I think, I mean, can we see him take anything other than VC at this stage to the Masters?
So of the people who have been really committed to vampire accounts in recent times, Sam's one that I would be less surprised if he changed off for the Masters, given that he's played loads of high elves and things in the past, and that there is some targeted comp hitting the vampire builds that people have been playing. I think if anyone's going to bail from vampires, people like Sam and maybe Keith, when we get to in a bit, have some other weapons in the weapon shed that might they might be tempted by. But ultimately, I think vampires are still probably, if you're good with them, probably the most powerful thing to be doing.
You would think so, but like you say, he's one of these players that actually has an option B, option C. He has a flavor of elf that he can take, and he has played warriors this year as well. So like he's a versatile player that can probably take various options. I do agree.
Vampires or dragons, both kinds.
Exactly. So we'll put him down for VC at the moment, but that could very much change going forward as well. So well done, Sam, reaching heady heights of 17th. That's quite impressive. So let's move into swiftly onto number 16, and that is Matthew Clayton. Now I know Matt is in fact in the chat, so I'm sure he'll throw shit at us, especially when I come to talk about the game that I lost to him, which I'm sure he's been feasting on recently. But let's have a little look and see how he's done. I mean, looking at his results, there is not one result that is not a flavor of warriors. In fact, he did flirt with Heralds of Darkness once, and then went nah, and just went straight back to vanilla warriors all the way.
It's worth bearing in mind that some of the data and sub-factions don't populate into Old World rankings properly.
Good point.
So some of these might have been other flavors of warriors. I noticed that with Tom Carley's Beastman, that some events where he'd played Wild Herd were listed as Beastman on here.
That's a good point. Yeah,
I don't think that's going to stop Matt from taking Warriors of Chaos.
No, exactly. Now Matt has confirmed to us he's not going to be able to make it, unfortunately. So I will not be able to extract my revenge from our last matchup at this event. But let's have a look and see which events Matt has in fact scored with. So in his highest qualifier was the Black Country GT back in this. Oh, so the one that just finished just now. Now this is the last ranking event of the season, and he came third at that. So that's a really good, solid throw of the last dice, and that really. Although it looks like that didn't really move him much. I'm guessing he basically just kept his placing, as it were. Second highest event was the Welsh Open, and that was the one in October, and that's the one that he smashed me in round 3, I believe it was. But he did come 8th at that, which is interesting because there's a lot of tiebreakers at that event. So that looks like his highest placing. His third highest placing was the 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 War for the Old World GT, where he in fact won it. So well done to him on that as well. That was back in February, start of the year, way before any of these edition changes. And then his fourth highest one was War for the Old World back in May, where he came second. So a lot of podium placings here. It looks like so. Not
and also
yeah.
some innovation in the list as well. Like Matt is playing a big brick of warriors to soak up the core points, whereas other warriors players have been doing various things with Marauder Horsemen and Forsaken and so on. But Matt's just putting 400 points of warriors down and daring people to deal with it. Seems to be working.
It seems to be
when
working.
you've got 3 gens to back up.
Yeah. It's interesting because I would have quite liked to see what a good Warriors player was able to bring to a new edition, essentially post the FAQ, to see what the new Warriors list would look like. Because I wonder if the Triple Dragon days are numbered, or maybe maybe we'll still see Double Dragon and then a small bus of some sort, or it would have been nice to see what the new Warriors meta would look like, but unfortunately, like we'll be able to see Matt's innovation at that. So a shame we can't make it, but yeah, all the very best. Well done on reaching 16th. Okay, so let me just have a little look and see. Okay, so now we're entering the YouTuber territory. Starting with Ed. So Ed is in 15th place, and he has done a whole bunch of events, but I do believe these are also lots of TSN arena ones. Although having said that, there's Saffron Slam there as well. There's all sorts here. He has done various armies as well. He's taken Isles, he's won with them. He's taken Bretts, he's won with them. Wild Herd, etc., etc. So yeah, he's done all right himself. Let's have a look at his highest ranked event. What was it? Highest ranked event was War for the Old World in October. That looks like a FNG event. No, FNG, TSN event.
Yeah, anything that says War for the Old World is going to be a TSN event, but
Got you.
they have various different spins on things. There's some at 2,600 points. Some have rivers. They're using the square-based comp at them now. So even though they're all run at the same place, the events themselves
do vary.
Have a bit of variety.
That's fair. So he's won with Wild Herd. His second highest one was Saffron Slam with High Elves. That's a 19-man event, which he also won as well. His third highest, he also won that too, which is a TSN event. He won that with Exiles, and his fourth highest one was with Warriors, which he won as well, Saffron Slam. So it looks like he these are sort of middle-sized events, I would say, but he's won them all, which is impressive. It's you still have to, even middle-sized events still have lots of good players at them, and you need to be able to beat the rest of the field, and to have the luck. And he's done it with 3 or 4 different armies, which is quite impressive. Like I know he set himself that challenge to be able to win 4 events with 4 different armies, and it's definitely he's managed to achieve that. So that is impressive. It's just a shame we haven't seen him perform at a larger event, but maybe. I mean, if it comes to winning small to medium-sized events, Masters is only 24 players. That's all you need to do, you know?
Yeah, and I guess this is one that will be potentially harder to peg what Ed would be taking, although maybe not so hard to peg what he'll be taking.
So you reckon it might be a flavor of Bretonians then?
That'd be my guess, but also if anyone's going to paint up a new army in the 7 hours before an event, it's probably Ed. So new items, new ideas.
Yep.
I guess the close order channel might have shed some light on the mystery if there is in fact a mystery and it's not just the usual suspects.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like you say, it's a tricky one to estimate here. Whether he will what he'll bring, because he's one of these players that's actually played multiple different armies and has done quite well with them. If I were to guess, I would say Beastman. Actually, he's been talking about Beastman a lot recently. But I think it might be a flavor of Beastman of Wild Herd or something. That sounds like an Ed type army where you just throw everything at the wall, and if it works, he wins, and if it doesn't work, he loses massively. So, that sounds like an Ed thing. But again, Bretonian Exiles also pretty good. So yeah, it could very much be that as well. Whatever it's going to be, I suspect a Hogmanay episode with minutes running down to event submission where he says he's doing the list live and he goes, right, fuck it, let's just submit it, and it'll just be, and then he'll be like, great, I have a week to paint this, and that'll be him churning out the content for the next week about how he's going to paint this army he came up with last minute. So yeah, good on you, Ed. So we'll see how it does. We're putting down Exiles slash Beastmen as a possible one there. So yeah, good. Well done, Ed. Well done for getting that high. So we're into the top 14 now. Starting with Adam Harper. Now, Adam, I did have the pleasure of meeting him at Welsh Open. We went to a nightclub together. It was quite an experience. He's a character. He's a character, and I think, yeah, I think the only reason, to be honest, he didn't do better at the Welsh Open is because he got absolutely destroyed on the Saturday night. But he was pretty wrecked on the Friday. But they play themselves right, and then on the Saturday he took it one further, and yeah, his Sunday was a less impressive feat, fortunately. So, well, let's have a look and see how he did do. I think, in fact, if I'm not wrong, yeah, his highest ranked event was the most recent Black Country GT, which he did in fact win with Cathay. And I wonder if he's got other armies there, or are they? Okay. So the Welsh Open was his second highest. Where is he? Sorry, he's second at the Welsh Open back in February with Bretonians. Yeah, okay, so this is quite an old result, but he's done well there. His third highest being the Welsh Open in October, where he just pipped out of the top 10, and he ended up 13th with the Jade Fleet, essentially another flavour of Cathay. And in fourth, his fourth highest one was Black Country GT in June, and that was with Bretonian. So 2 Bretonian results, 2 Cathay results. What are you thinking? What's your thoughts?
I mean, just sort of recency, I would expect Cathay to make an appearance again.
Yeah.
I don't know if Adam's a sort of painter at heart, and if Cathay's a project that's had a bunch of time put into, but the last 3 events at Cathay, I'd be expecting that again, but not impossible to take a pivot away from that. Although I think, just looking at the list from the last event, that the Cathay comp might be slightly harsher here, so wouldn't be able to run exactly the same list.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if that might make a prompt a change or something. But if I had to guess, I'd say Cathay being one of the, I think, still clearly best armies around.
I would agree. I think, given that his Bretonian results were all before 1.5, I think Cathay is probably his strongest army if he were to come and do and take a shot at the win, and because that has been his highest placing results there as well. So yeah, let's put him down as there as well. Now I think, if I'm not wrong, he in fact jumped 11 places with his win at Black Country, and 11 plus 14 is 25. So he basically was just out of the Masters placings. So he really needed to do well. Ideally, well, he needed to do well at Black Country. So it looks like he smashed it to secure his spot in the top echelons of the UK tournament scene. So yeah, well done to Adam for getting the results in there. And yeah, this will be one of the many Cathay players I think that we're going to see there. So Speaking of other Cathay players, we're obviously the top 13, and we're now reaching the heady heights of some of the best Australian players in the tournament scene today. And we have, of course, yourself, Chris. You have
some of the one of the best Australian players in the British tournament scene. Obviously, the
of course
Australian scene is another thing in time.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very fair.
Yeah,
Okay.
I am definitely not going to claim that I am, anything about that. Other than that, of course, Aussie Rules Comp is the comp that they should be using in Australia.
Yes, and they have used it at a couple of events. To be fair,
Yeah,
it's slowly invading Australia, one tournament at a time.
I think the more that other events are comping things as well, the less need there is for specific things. Like as long as the default is shifting to try and balance the field a bit, then that's all good progress.
Exactly. I mean, I know you've been playing Cathay for a while, but I didn't quite realize how hard you've been going at Cathay. So basically, since release, it's been Cathay, Cathay, Cathay. Every event you've done have all been Cathay.
So this is a total sliding doors thing, because I bought, built, and painted a vampire army because I was going to be taking that to the WTC for Scotland.
Yep.
Then we had a personnel shift. Dave came in, who'd been playing vampires, and without knowing at that point how good Cathay were going to be, I said, "Yeah, like Dave can play vampires, I'll do Cathay."
Yep.
And Cathay are quite good, it turns out, and so played a bunch with that as practice for the WTC. And now that that's over, I'm still playing Cathay, but I'm in my no balloons era. And that will definitely be continuing for the Masters. I'm 100% taking Cathay and 100% not taking any balloons, because I think you don't need them for Cathay to still be a super strong list.
Is it a Cathay list if it doesn't have balloons? Is it as good? I guess we'll find out. But yeah, let's.
Oh, it's not as good. This is definitely not. I'm not. Yeah, I don't think I've like broken the code or like seen the Matrix and realized balloons are bad. They're totally busted. I just don't think even if the balloons didn't exist, the Cathay list would still be a very competitive army. And so, that's what I'm taking. And I guess this is not optimizing for winning the event necessarily, but that's the list I want to play. I've been enjoying it, and neither me nor my opponents particularly enjoy balloons. So
no, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, got to make some concessions to actually having a good time.
Make some concessions, make some friends. That's fair. Okay, well, let's have a look at your top ranked event. So your highest ranked one was the Warhammer GT. Sorry, the Warhammer GT, the Old World GT at Warhammer World back in April, where you just missed out on a podium there. So that was in fourth place. That was actually with Warriors. I do remember you were in fourth, I was in fifth. We both played the eventual winner, Russ. And we both lost a game to him, and that was our only loss for the weekend as well. So
the Warrior Dragon nonsense was very much in full swing then. This was pre 1.5.
Yeah. And I must highlight this very painful loss of placing to me, because the difference between us between fourth and fifth place at this event was in fact 10 victory points. It was down to the tiebreaker of 10 bloody victory points.
Then when we got to play at Toy Soldier, was it? And
which I think we'll mention next. I suspect. Let's have a look.
Just the most disheartening draw, I suspect, for both of us.
It was. And hold on, is that even in your top 4 events? It is.
Yeah.
So Toy Soldier is your 4th one. Okay, so I'll not spoil this too much, but you finished in 8th place there, but you were undefeated. You had 3 wins and 2 draws, which is painful.
I was also one tournament point behind you in first place.
Yeah.
And there were so many people on the same scores that tiebreakers bumped me all the way down to 8th.
Yeah. Which is another
that happens.
It does happen, and that's fair. There's different tournament scoring systems and stuff, but one bugbear that I have, and I find this really quite painful, is when you play on table 1 in round 5, you're playing to win the tournament. You get a very minor loss or you draw, and you're suddenly out of a podium. It's kind of rough. It feels really rough.
Sometimes you could win the last round on table one
Yeah,
and still not hit the podium.
yeah, exactly. And this is, this is where maybe the scoring system that we use, maybe they need a little bit of more thought, because it doesn't feel reflective of the effort that it takes to get to that stage. And it doesn't really feel like reflective of the end result.
The problem, I guess, is that if you use other scoring systems that, for example, if you make the final table, you're kind of locked into the podium. It means that if you take a loss early, you just get drawn into someone really good early in the
Yeah.
event, or have one bad dice roll. That potentially just takes you out of the running in
Yeah.
round one or round two, and that's also not an ideal scenario. So
No,
there's no perfect system,
there
and
is
you
no
just gotta
perfect system. You just roll with what
read
it
the
is.
back.
You have to read the back. Exactly. Okay. Well, your highest your highest place there was your fourth at a Warhammer World with Warriors. In second, it was the Forgotten North event, which was back in November, which again was fifth place, and that was with Cathay. Your third highest was Facehammer GT back in September, where it was fourth place, and that the Toy Soldier event that we mentioned, which was eighth place. So lots of fourth places, just missing out on the podiums. It looks like if there's anyone who's missed out on some good placings and some nice trophies, it looks like it might be you. But you have since picked up a few trophies, right? Including, and it must be mentioned, the highest scoring WTC player out of what, 140, 145 players or something, whatever it was. It's not nothing.
It's not nothing, but it's not representative of who was playing the best on that weekend, because with the pairing system,
It's a team event.
I was getting put into like reasonable to very good matchups, and
Yeah, that's fair.
Other loads of players were getting put under the bus, and so the actual score is. I was happy with it. I got the points that were on the table, but it's not as though that was showing anything spectacular about my play. Apart from maybe the good decision to take balloons.
Yeah, exactly. Turns out balloons equals winning. So,
but I did check, and if you remove the tournaments that I took balloons at, I would still have made the Masters in like 23rd place. So,
oh, really? Okay. Well, that justifies your.
I didn't need the balloons, as it turns out, but it was a near thing. I definitely needed Cathay.
You didn't need them, but they sure as hell helped help you get there. But yeah, no, I think that's definitely a worthwhile mention. But your performance over this year has been impressive, and since the start of 1.5, it turned you took a punt at Cathay, and it worked for you, and it continues to work for you there. So
yeah, I've definitely noticed I've been found out a couple of times with lack of practice and lack of army knowledge, like playing. Yeah, the first times I played against things like Wild Herd and X-Force were tournament games against good players on the upper tables. So I just went into games kind of blind, and as a result, didn't know what I was doing, and got deservedly beaten. So
that's fair.
Got to get the reps in, I guess, is the message.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Is it you can't just take a good army and expect to do well. You have to actually know what you're doing, know the ins and outs of your army, your opponent's army, and what it can do as well. So yeah, it's especially when you reach those better players, other Masters players, I guess, and people who are contending for the top title, that you really do have to put in the work there. Okay, so we are now halfway through our lower end. We are now heading into the top 12, which is the higher end of the Masters rankings, and we hit upon in number 12 we have Sam Freestone. Now Sam is a bit of a legend, because not only is he a pure high elf purist, like he has only played high elves, he's also the only person in the whole entire rankings who has never podiumed. And in fact, you'd have to go down to 55th place in order to find the next person in the rankings who has never podiumed. So from that
So,
sense, it's quite impressive.
yeah, although you say never podium, but if I might be looking at a slightly different screen, but in the previous year, Sam had some firsts and seconds, and
Sorry. Yeah,
clean sweeps with Empire. So
I should correct. He has not podiumed in this season. It does look like, yeah, you're right. He has done. So he's done well when he didn't play high elves, and then he started playing high elves, and then he got a second place, and then after that it was just fourth, sixth, and a few others as well. So it's impressive to be able to get this high without podiuming. What has he done? I think this is the man. So Sam is always my bet for top five, and I think in fourth or fifth place, mainly because of the consistency that he places in fourth and fifth place. So let's have a little look. So back in February, he did the Welsh Open. He came fourth at that with high elves. His second highest place was the Welsh Open in October. He came sixth with high elves. In third highest was also Black Country GT in April. He came fourth with high elves. And last but not least, his fourth highest was Black Country GT back in June, where he was slipped to seventh, but he still took high elves as well. So I think I can't see Sam taking anything other than high elves, right? Surely he's seen the season out with them. He's going to be taking them to the Masters.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I think Sam is a pretty guarantee that that's going to be the case. And I'm gonna make a prediction that I think Sam's gonna come fifth at the Masters, just through the consistency of his placings throughout the year. But yeah, very impressive dedication to the Hiles, because they are not an easy army to play in the current meta.
no, I think they really do fall into the sort of like second or third best double dragon army,
Yeah.
and Sam's just been consistently doing extremely well with them, including some events there where he's been undefeated.
Yeah,
Which at that point you're really just a coin toss away from taking down the entire event. So
exactly. And I think Sam's definitely one of these players that if you come across him at an event, you need to have your wits about you, because he can take you out of the running. He knows his army inside out. He knows how to play them. So it's it's definitely a case of one to watch out for. But yeah, well done, Sam. And I'm looking forward to facing against your Hiles, hopefully, when it comes to the Masters. Okay, so climbing one more higher, we go to number 11, and it's Brian Carmichael, the hobby killer himself, yet another infamous YouTuber as well. So he has been killing lots of hobbies recently with more Cathay. Now, I actually wonder if he has played anything else other than Cathay. Let me just have a little look. Cathay. He did a bit of Tomb Kings, Orcs and Goblins, and Tomb Kings back. Yeah, so Brian's one that's been playing Warhammer for about 400 years. I think he's about as old as Lord Croak himself. He's been around for ages. But he's only recently come back into square-based Warhammer. And it shows, because it looks like he basically did a couple of events before that, but then really July onwards, he much like yourself, he's picked up Cathay from the beginning, and then he's played them out. Now, I don't know if for Brian it was a conscious decision that they were going to be quite so powerful, but I do know that he likes to test the limits of army lists, and that he's the guy who's taken the Four Shigungan list. He's the guy who's taken the 9 or 10 rings, or the Rings of Jet list. He's the guy who's taken like the multiple balloon list. So he does like to test the boundaries of people's patience sometimes also.
I mean, to be fair, I kind of agree with Brian on this one, which is that if the rules are letting you do it,
yeah,
and people are rocking up with their versions of competitive lists,
yeah,
then do it. And if you don't, if people don't like it, well, then we need to restrict it, because relying on people's gut feelings about where the line is just always leads to people with different expectations turning up. You speak to a vampire player and they think their uncomped list with like 5 screams is that's fair and balanced, but taking a second steam tank, that's
too much,
a bit much. Like everyone's biased in their own favor in these kind of things, and so like absolutely, if the rules let you take it basically, and then we need to keep an eye on the rules to make sure that things are kept in line, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's fair in terms of as an approach to tournament gaming, if the rules allow it, yeah, go for it. Anything should be done. And if that doesn't prove to be the type of Warhammer that you want to play, then let's change the boundaries. Let's look at it from a hard comp perspective. So you got to respect it from that point of view, and that's totally fair. Sal Brian has qualified. I mean, these are all Cathay results. I think his highest one being London GT. He just missed out on the podium there. He came in 4th place, and he played me, and actually got a minor win against me, and that was my only loss that weekend. And he played Malik, the eventual winner in the end, and lost against him. Yes, that's right. Yeah. So he just missed out on the podium there.
Almost the same thing happened. Almost the same thing happened to Brian at Facehammer. There were 3 of us playing Cathay there. Yep. Liam and I didn't play each other, and Brian played both of us. And so, again, just luck of the Cathay draw, having to play more mirrors than anyone else.
Yeah. And I think he's probably one that's quite used to playing the Cathay mirrors, because he's played so many of them. He's used to playing the top tier players. And it looks like, all his results, as mentioned, have all been with Cathay. Old World Unleashed in October, he won that. 3rd place, Saffron Slam 5. He came 2nd of that. And then the Old World Summer Slam in July, came 2nd of that as well. And then his highest result being the Old World GT, ironically being in 4th place, was his highest result there. But we know he's not coming to the Masters. Is too far away for Brian. He lives basically on the southern coast, within a stone's throw of France. So I think he thinks London is north. So anything beyond that is just like the outlands for him. So, which is a shame. It would have been nice to see what he would have been able to bring under the comp, but I guess we'll just have to wait for another event. Okay, so I think, if I'm not wrong, we have one more player in the top 10 who's unable to make it, but other than that, the rest of them pretty much are. We are entering the top 10. This is the top 10 UK players at the end of the 2025 season. Half of them are tolls, which is disappointing, or wannabe tolls, and the rest are just trying to survive there. So, starting with the youngest toll, Jack. I think he's like 10 years old. The child prodigy when it comes to Warhammer.
10 and 3/4, I think he keeps saying.
I think he does. Yeah, definitely. So Baby Jack has had a solid amount of results there. He's won a good number. I mean, it helps if your family owns enough Warhammer armies to just keep you running in the meta. But I think he's mostly been pushing the Bretts the whole time. His highest result was Durham GT back in July. He won that with Exiles. His second highest being the Black Country GT in April. He let his dad take the 3rd place there and came in 5th place. Very kind of him, with Brett's. In 3rd place, the Welsh Open in October. He came 9th there. And then his 4th result was a Toy Soldier, and I do remember him being there as well, just hanging out in the Crash section. He came in 6th place with Exiles. So I mean, I can't imagine Jack taking anything other than a flavor of Brett's, and it's probably going to be Exiles, right? Am I wrong?
I imagine so. I think also there's a lot of vampire players at the event, and Jack really fancies the vampire matchup.
Yeah.
But if people move off vampires and are bringing Cathay instead, that might leave the field a bit less pleasant for Bretonians than it might have been without some of the comp changes that have been made. But I think either way, Jack's just going to be playing Bretonians into the field, right? It's just whether the field changes around him in a way that helps or hinders.
Exactly. And maybe if everybody's carrying, everybody's taking Cathay and they're carrying 2 no-fly items, then his pegs aren't going to be going very far. But maybe he'll surprise us. Maybe he'll bring an all-mounted list with no peg characters. That would be something. That would be quite something. But yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that he will probably be taking Brett's, and I would say Exiles is the most likely scenario. But you never know; he might surprise us. Jack is got a long, exciting future ahead of him. The rest of his life, he'll outlive us all. He'll probably be, he'll have another 10 chances of being the master, I'm sure, after we're all dead. But hey ho. So let's move into the number 9, Mark Muslick. Now, Mark is again another one of these sort of legacy players. Has been playing for donkey's years. He has had a hand in Old World a lot more than other people have, and it looks like he has played a multitude of different factions as well. But although actually most recent results have in fact been warriors. I know him to be as a vampire player, but that's just the events that I've come across. Him. I have never played Mark. I'll be honest. We've played at the same event once or twice, but I've never actually played Mark. So I can't comment on how well he plays it, but clearly he's had the results. His highest ranking was the Welsh Open back in February, where he came third with VC. Second highest result was Toy Soldier, which we came third with VC. His third highest was Black Country GT in June. He came fourth with Demons, just out of third. And then his fourth highest was the Black Country GT just passed in December, where he came sixth with Warriors. So a multitude of results there, mostly in the Warriors Vampires sphere. Any thoughts?
Just that this is not a combination of armies that I would normally expect people to flex between. Like vampires tend to be a really slow grinding army. I think of people like Actar who have played them over the years, and then playing like double dragon warriors and corn flying demons. It's just a totally different play style, and the fact that Mark has done well with kind of two extremes of how to play Warhammer is pretty impressive. I think. Like, again, I don't know Mark personally. I think I spoke to him briefly at Toy Soldier, but otherwise I'm not sure that we've been at the same events, and that's just a really cool spread to see someone flexing from vampire infantry blocks to charging people with dragons and making it work with both.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna guess that he's gonna take warriors. Now, a couple of reasons for that. Well, yeah, two reasons for that. So first of all, his last two results have been with warriors, so he's clearly been playing them recently. And also these lists, looking at them, are they're not your standard triple dragon lists. They're actually double dragon with some sort of thinking behind it. So I actually think this might be our first warriors player that'll actually bring something innovative, something to watch out for, and maybe something that we don't really expect at the moment. So this might be one to watch for innovative warriors lists at the Masters. That's my guess. It's just come to me just now. I think I wouldn't be surprised if he went vampires, but if he didn't, then it would be warriors, and it would be some sort of cool weird shit that we just wouldn't expect.
I'd love it to be the demons again, but I think I would be worried about rocking up with warriors, just because I think that between the no stomp banner existing and there being just a big whack of Cathay.
Yeah.
Not that I think warriors are bad, but again, it's just that if our guesses are kind of right, there's not going to be that many of the armies that they prey upon, and some of the Cathay cannons, no fly banner kind of stuff that can give them a really hard time. So if I was thinking in the dark, I'd say it's probably less good for warriors than it would be in an open field, but not that means Mark wouldn't be taking them. And of course, warriors have just got a load of new toys as well to play around with. So I would say very interested to see. And I think actually like the ambushing options and angles that warriors now have, there's a lot more that they can do than just fang dragons at people.
Yeah, no, definitely. One to watch, definitely. Let's put him down for VC, maybe warriors, in case things get a little bit and he decides to surprise us there, just so we can cover all bases. Okay, so moving into number 8. So we have Liam Jordan. Liam he's another one of these Southern softies. Although I'm sure he will begrudge me saying that because he won't consider himself Southern. But he is another one that is also a YouTuber and a podcaster, so one to watch. Let's have a little look and see how his results have placed him. His highest one was Facehammer GT, which he took out with Cathay. Is that one that you played him at? Did you say you played?
I didn't play Liam there. That was one where Brian had to play both Liam and I, and
Got you.
I was slain by Ian's Bretonians in the fourth round. So didn't end up facing Liam.
Liam is currently defending his honor in the chat. I think he's taken offense to me calling him a southern softy. He'll probably mention to me he's like, you know, Nottingham based. I don't know. That's a terrible accent. Apologies. Literally joined the stream to hear you mocking me. Yep, that's right. Well, you've joined a great time, Liam. Definitely. So we're just. If you think that's bad, just wait till we really say what we think. So highest result was Cathay at Facehammer. Let's see how many balloons you took of that one. Shagungan Lord Magistrate. That's one lantern. And then okay, so only 2 balloons at that event. Okay, so far not the end of the world. Second highest result was Old World Summer Slam in July, which he won with Cathay. Let's have a look. So that is 1 balloon. Only 1 balloon there. Okay, so you've reserved yourself there. I'm very, very proud of you at that part. Third highest result was Forgotten North in November, where Liam came 6th with Wolves. Okay, so he can play other armies. Well done, Liam. And he's actually named some of his characters, which I think is quite nice. That shows that you're a man of good taste. And your 4th highest result there was the Old World Throne of Skulls. Okay, back in February, which Liam, I don't see him in the. Oh, he came 6th with Wolves of the Sea there as well. Okay, interesting. So okay, so granted, he's got 2 results that are not Cathay. But I think all of his more recent ones. Oh no, he's taken Wolves to the last 2 events as well, trying to redeem some honor amongst them as well.
I guess something else I'd say as well is that even though Liam was on Cathay right at the start, he's been taking like Sentinels and things. So like at Facehammer, I thought that his was probably the most restrained of the 3 Cathay lists, and he was the one that won with them. So I would say that speaks to a bit of restraint, but also playing them very well, and not leaning on just going like full balloon nonsense.
Full potato, yeah. I think that is true. My experience is probably coloured by all the sort of social media that I'm tapped into, and I just remember this period in the summer where Liam's like, oh yeah, just won another event with Cathay, and you can see it was July Old World Slam, Cathay 5 wins, Only Flanks in August 5 wins, Facehammer 5 wins. It was just like one event after another, which were all Cathay wins. And this is when the Cathay hype was building up, and people were like, "Well, maybe we need to do something about that." And to be fair, Liam was one that was saying, "Yeah, we definitely do need to do something about that because they are an issue." And like he's just saying,
also most of his lists would still be legal.
Yes, exactly.
Is the other thing.
Exactly. And he says, like, just his chat here, he is saying he got into them early and people didn't really know what to do against them. And that is part of the success of Cathay, is always because they're such a different army to other ones. You, if you have not faced them, if you have not played against them before, you can lose against them very quickly. And I think it's one of these things that you sort of need to learn. So I do wonder how much success Cathay will have, even if there was no big FAQ coming into next year, just purely by people getting more reps against them and they're becoming some comp on them as well. So I believe, Liam, you are not actually attending the Masters with us, which is a shame, but must be because it's too far north for you, and maybe you don't have a warm enough jacket to last the January winters up north. Yeah, That's fair. Yeah, I do remember you talking on your podcast about that there. So it'll be a shame because it would have been nice to catch up. But yeah, well done on your placing, even if half of it is Cathay results. We won't begrudge you too much there, Liam. You cracked the top 10, so well done on that. Okay, so we're moving into the top 7 here. Okay, so what we have here, we have Tom Brzozowski. Now, Tom's surname is one that I've practiced several times, and I probably still mispronounce it. So apologies, Tom. Lovely gentleman, quiet chap, but has a big smile, and he's this guy has been running Chaos Dwarves pretty much the whole year. He did flirt with Wood Elves back in 2024, but since then it's always been Chaos Dwarves of any variety. So all of his results will be with those. His highest one was Colchester Clash back in April, which he won with Chaos Dwarves, which is impressive. Second highest being the Welsh Open back in October, where he was in the podium on third place, again with Dwarfs. His third highest was Facehammer, which he came third at as well, just pipping you there, Chris, just to rub it in. And his fourth highest result was the London GT, where he came 8th with those Chaos Dwarves as well. So all results with Chaos Dwarves. This is probably one of these people that you have to say is basically like Sam Freestone. They are a faction expert, and their results with that faction are probably not the average result with that faction. They're very much able to do more with that army than an average player would be able to do. Do you agree?
And I think also you might see some like a really consistent build, I think, start to appear that that Tom's worked out over the past like 15 events as well that I saw. Which is
very impressive.
A lot.
That is a lot. Yeah, I mean, he's really thrown his Chaos Dwarves through everything there, and he's really tested them out.
Bale Taurus, Wyvern, Double Iron Demon. I'd be surprised to see anything other than that. And it's obviously been doing very well for him.
It has, yeah. And I played Tom. I had the pleasure of playing him at the London GT, and it was he definitely knows what he's doing. Chaos Dwarves is just one of these factions that you don't see very often. And when you come up against somebody who knows them inside out and knows every single matchup that they could play into, it's a really tough game. So yeah, he's definitely one to watch out for, because he could really cause some upsets. Could Chaos Dwarves win K Masters? I don't know. It would be interesting. It would be interesting. They have some play. Can they beat Cathay? Can they beat Vampires?
I just wonder if you need to win 5 rounds, and there's a good chance that it's going to be into Cathay with cannons or Vampires with screams every time, like the Ethereals to pin down Iron Demons and things.
Yep.
Again, just one of those things where it might just be that the average result for Chaos Dwarves is just not going to be as high in the Masters field, because so much is condensed into what, at least to me at first glance, seem like tough matchups.
Yeah.
Clearly, Tom's still winning them some of the time, at least.
Yep.
But whether you can do that 5 rounds in a row.
Yeah, exactly. But then the Masters is a 20-0 system, so you don't need to win every game.
That's true.
You just need to win the ones that you do win a lot and not lose by that too much. So, Tom could definitely be one of these ones that could upset, and he could get into the top 5. He could, maybe even do better than that. It's definitely one to watch out for. So, good luck, Tom. I'm looking forward to seeing what you bring, and how that'll have, what an upset that'll have on the field as well. So, well done. Okay, so we're moving into 6th place, and we have Steve Toll, Big Papa Toll himself. Now, Steve is another one of these faction experts. Well, I want to say faction experts. That's probably being very generous to Papa Toll himself. I wouldn't call him an expert at anything other than breeding children, because he has about 400 kids, which is very impressive. But he has played Wolves of the Sea, And Warriors of Chaos pretty much the entire. Yep, he's in fact never played any other army other than. Oh no, he did flirt with Wood Elves for one brief moment in 2024, but the rest have all been Warriors. I suspect what happened at that event, because he goes to so many events, he probably picked up the wrong box. And it just happened to have a Wood Elf army in it, and he had to play that for the whole weekend, rather than actually play his Warriors. I mean, we've both played Steve Toll, right? Probably far too many times that we'd want. Everybody's.
I've only played him the once, and it was just absolute champagne.
What happened to that?
The old
that game
double
that you
six
played
on the doppelganger.
Oh, interesting. And what,
Yeah,
did you have a special weapon?
I cast Spectral Doppelganger with my Shigengan Lord with the Monkey Blade.
Nice.
And rolled a double six for the number of hits. And
Beautiful.
if Steve was here, he would be able to remember the specific numbers. But yeah, it did like about 20 odd wounds and took his dragon off. And yeah, it was a supreme display of skill, I thought.
Somewhere, I think I can hear it now. I can hear him cry about that exact moment.
Look, my record against the tolls collectively is immaculate. So the Masters field is pretty good for me, because that's nice. A lot of tolls that I get to
get free wins out of. Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, free wins from Mr. Toll, the big Tim Toll himself. So let's have a look and see how he qualified. His highest result was the Forgotten North event back in May, which he came second at. Good, probably with 3 or 4 dragons. His second highest result is Durham GT, where he came second at Warriors. His third highest was Black Country GT in April, where he came third. And his fourth qualifying event was Square-based Extra Large Mega Battle Weekend, which I think was like 3,000 points. Yeah, it was 3,000 points of Warriors, where he came second as well. Now, interesting thing, I think Steve, despite going to about every single event possible, he has only won one, which was in August. Yes, when I think we just had 1.5 drop. So, yeah, he's one that's definitely always up there in contention for. You'll see him at the top tables at every event at some point, probably playing one of his kids, and and then losing to one of them, and then basically hoisting them up to victory to greater places, which, to be honest, as a dad, you couldn't really ask for anymore. So, yeah, well done.
I think the spectacular game from the last Forgotten North event that he had on camera, with his dragon dying to the dangerous terrain on a baggage cart.
Yeah, is that when his dragon got reduced to a single wound, and then his opponent was like, "Do you want to go through the dangerous terrain and risk it?" And Steve went, "Yeah, fuck it. What's the worst that can happen? You roll a 1, you lose your Chaos Dragon." Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to more stories like that happening at the Masters weekend, where Steve is doing really, really well, and then suddenly decides, "I'm just going to lose this game," and throw it all away. So yeah, hopefully on stream that would be even better. So looking forward to that. So well done, Papa Toll. You made it into the top 10 in 6th place. I mean, I was going to say, what army is he going to take, but I mean, I can't see him taking anything else other than Warriors. It's probably going to be Wolves, right?
That would be maybe. I don't know what it looks like with the new the new items and options for like both the common magic items, but also Marauders have a bunch of new things as well, although Wolves can make better use of them than most. So yeah, I just don't know how all the pieces fit together, but yeah, it'll be Warriors.
It'll be Warriors of some flavor as well. He's definitely one of these people that runs one army and one army only. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what we see from him. Okay, so moving into the top 5. In 5th place, we have Scott Reed, Warhammer Santa himself. This is the season for him. He'll be very busy this time of year, spreading Warhammer joy on all of his children. Warhammer children, that is. Now, I mean, again, we're moving into a place where he only really plays one army, and it's Tomb Kings. Tomb Kings. He's done a little bit of flirting early on in the edition with Empire and Chaos Wars, but it's almost always been Tomb Kings, and Tomb Kings only. Have you played Scott before?
No, never. Obviously seen him at loads of events, but haven't actually played him.
He's one of these people who is often in contention for most sporting as well. He has won most sporting a few times, which is something, it's quite impressive because he's a tournament winner. He always is in there for contention, and being able to do it with a smile is definitely an achievement. So he's also the organizer, one of the organizers, along with Andy and Stan for the Masters as well. So maybe he's got the inside scoop on what's going to be happening. I'm sure he's there now practicing his deployment and maneuvering as we speak. Maybe Andy will be able to confirm with that.
I think also running the Forgotten North events means that he's not in contention for a couple of the biggest points events available as well.
Yeah, which is impressive.
So there's a couple of massive events in his backyard that he's putting on for everyone else instead of harvesting points.
But he does have a very easy commute to the Masters. Of all the people in the top 24, he's probably within walking distance of it, which is quite rude. Well, let's have a look and see what he qualified with. So his highest placing was the Durham GT back in January, very beginning of the year. He won that with Tomb Kings, beat out Steve Toll. In second place, his second highest one was the Games Workshop GT, where he jumped to second place, undefeated. He was in second place there, undefeated there, so just missed out on tiebreakers. His third highest one was Toy Soldier, where he finished fourth, just out of podium, and his fourth highest one was Colchester Clash, where he finished fifth. Oh my god, that's back in April. I can't believe that Stan did better than Scott at an event. Well done, Stan. Good on you. I'm sure that was a comfortable journey back home. So I mean, the only question is what flavor of Tomb Kings is Scott most likely to bring? Any insight?
I genuinely don't know. They're all good. Tomb Kings have just a wealth of options, and I'm trying to think what version plays best into into Cathay. You maybe want Bo Shabti, but into Vampires, I'm not sure. If the answer to both is Bo Shabti, I guess you do that. Scott's obviously got the Royal Host blocks of death list as well. Although I imagine if you're trying to win the event, that might not get you to big 20-0s if people are just going to avoid it. But I guess if they want to win the event, they have to commit. So maybe you do end up with the big wins.
True. Yeah. I mean, it's very possible that we see Scott bring just massive blocks of skellies and chariots and maybe a couple of monsters and just pick up his points where he can and just not lose any games. But is that enough to score highly at these sort of events? I don't know. But it's going to be Tomb Kings of some flavor. That we can probably agree. And if it was any flavor, it would be the Neckarharan Host. Maybe if that's what we were to see. But yeah, well done, Scott. You made it into the top 5. That is definitely an impressive feat. But I think he qualified fairly early on, and he's pretty much just stayed up there.
Yeah. Also, I was working this out. If Vampire Count results were taken out of the equation, Scott would be in number 1.
Nice.
So best non-Vampire Count player in the
best non-legacy army player, basically. If legacies were all fake, then Scott would be the man to watch out. Okay, well done, Scott. Okay, moving into number 4, we have Jack Ward. I believe he's been adopted by the Tolls purely on the basis of him being a filthmonger. He has been really pushing the different armies throughout the year. Now, I have been to what feels like every event that I go to, he's there, but I have never actually played Jack. I think you played him back in Toy Soldier? Played his Expeditionary Force?
Yep, we played. Yep, that was my introduction to how Expeditionary Force work, and they're a bit of a headache. So we ended up with a 10-10 draw, which was
always a pleasure.
but it was a 10-10 draw of multiple flying things doing silly stuff, and
Yeah.
so I think we both just fried our brains over the course of that matchup.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And he's got, he's placed quite. He's got results with various armies, warriors. Done fairly well with expeditionary force. He's, his I think his biggest win was probably the Welsh Open with the vampires. And he did come third at the Forgotten North with vampires as well, just losing out to Keith, who eventually won on that event. So, definitely in contention for top placings. Let me just triple check that is correct. His first one, yeah, Welsh Open. Then we're looking at Forgotten North, which is third, followed by another Forgotten North event in May when he was fourth with Warriors. And his last qualifying event was the Welsh Open back in February, where he was fifth with Warriors. So, two VC results, which have given him his best scoring results, and two Warriors results back before 1.5. What do we think old Jack might bring? He is one of these versatile players that will pretty much take whatever is the strongest army. So I suspect we might not even see VC or Warriors.
I would expect vampire counts as my guess, partly because I think in a field full of Cathay, and with the new items, Expeditionary Force probably doesn't love it, and Warriors might not as well. So just out of the three armies that Jack's played the most this year, I think vampires would be the strongest option, but that doesn't mean that there isn't something else out of left field.
Yeah, that's fair. We haven't seen Jack take on Cathay yet, which is interesting. For a self-confessed tryhard, he's not picked up his tryhardiest of all armies yet.
I think Cathay's peak coincided with him trying to figure out Expeditionary Force stuff as part of the kind of Team England learning process.
Yeah.
I think there was I don't know if that was to like just gather information or as a sort of backup option. I think Richie has a bad track record of getting bitten by spiders at events, so Jack sort of ready to step in if that happened again. But so basically, when Cathay were at their peak, he was playing X-Force, and then Cathay got comped down to the point where vampires were the only game in town, and that coincided with Jack's pretty romper-stomping run with those at the last couple of events.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That we have some inside scoop in the comments, and it's Callum chiming in to say that he did borrow Callum's Cathay and took them to the Italy Teams event recently. So he has got some reps in with Cathay. So it's possible we might see VC / Cathay. Callum's army, I think other people have played with it more than Callum has. They are the true ultimate mercenary list, and I am certainly not one that's innocent of that myself. So it's very kind of Callum to lend it out. So we'll say VC / Cathay. He won't be playing Cathay, Callum says. All right, so if that's the case, then I think we're pretty much guessing VC. He won't be playing your Cathay, perhaps, Callum. Maybe he'll be, maybe he's got his own. Maybe he'll be borrowing it.
Well,
all right.
Brian sold his Cathay. Someone must have bought it.
Oh, somebody. No, I know exactly who bought Brian's Cathay. It's actually a Swedish player called, his nickname is Bustamove. He's a lovely Swedish guy. He used to play High Elves until he turned into the filthy dark side. So he's bought Brian's Cathay, so he won't be ripping those. But it doesn't mean that he won't lend them out. We just don't know. Okay, so we're moving into the top three, the podium of the UK tournament scene, and we reach just a denizen of filth and disgustingness of neckbeards and tryharding. But before we get to those guys, we actually have one very lovely, handsome man, and that is Charlie Nichols. Charlie is the vampire count himself. He is basically just frustratingly good at the game and frustratingly nice person to know. I absolutely he lures you in with his beguile, and you think, oh, I've got this game. I'm gonna win, and then turn 1, 2, 3, you're doing well, and then in 4 you're doing well, and then suddenly you go, crap, I've lost. How did that happen? He just winks and a smile, and then he just tricks you into losing, and that's how my games against him have gone this year. The cheeky little bugger. But he has snuck into third place, almost entirely with in fact, yeah, entirely with vampire counts. His highest placing event was back in May. He was the Forgotten North champion in May with vampire counts. His second highest one was, I believe, on home ground for us. He came to Glasgow and took the Battle for Green Hollow, first place there, which is the event that you ran, and I kindly gave him one of the wins that he had there. His third highest one was the Welsh Open, where he placed fifth place, and took the highest vampire, which wasn't on the podium, award, which is nice. And in fourth place, he the Durham GT, where he came fourth again with VC as well. I mean, Forgotten North is his stomping ground, local stomping ground. I believe he's fairly close by, and I just can't see him not taking VC, just as a matter of pride, right? Surely.
I expect so, but also I think Charlie basically, not to say he was the only person with some of these ideas, but the list that has been dominating events in the UK is basically been evolutions of Charlie's lists, and you can see him playing essentially the same kind of list since back in January, February. And so the fact that now comp has come in to bite the vampires a bit means that
that'll be interesting.
For the first time in a while, Charlie's going to have to mix things up. But I would expect that whatever he does with vampires is probably going to be one of the best options to do with them under the comp restrictions that we've got.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
Once screen cap came in, as when people said, "Oh, vampires are doing too well, maybe they can only have 3 screams." Well, that's all that Charlie's been using the entire time anyway, so that just forced everyone into Charlie's build anyway.
Yeah, I think Charlie's definitely one of these
and
people
now that's going to have to change, so we'll see.
It is. He's definitely the trendsetter when it comes to the VC frame. So he has he sort of sets what is the standard good list, and then people sort of follow on from that. So definitely he'll be taking VC, and he'll be doing whatever he'll be doing with them is probably what's going to look like VC early on into next year. So definitely one to consider. One thing I really should have mentioned is he has played one other event, and we really should know that better, because it was an event that you and I ran together. And he took Hiles to that, and he won that event. That was the first Aussie Comp event, Dragon's Grudge, back in March. He did win that. It hasn't quite gone into his top 4 highest placings. He's done much better since then, but he it was to sort of, give him some credit back on his reputation. He did take a different army, and he did do well with that. So Charlie's a very methodical player. He's definitely one to watch out. And he consistently does really well, and it'll be interesting to see what he does at the Masters. Whatever VC nonsense he brings there will probably be the standard. All right, so now we enter the denizens of filth. So we reached the second place, which is myself. And wow, let's just
former world number 1.
Excuse me, I'm still world number 1, but you'd have to take into consideration the online results. I was UK number 1 briefly before Keith stole it back, annoyingly, but hey ho. Let's have a little look. So my highest placing one was the Toy Soldier event, which is the one that you and I played in the final, and I snuck in there with Bretonian Exiles. Again, that was down to myself
borrowing an army, right?
There's a theme there. Yes, I borrowed an army for that. That's fair to say. That was my first borrowed army. So that was first place. The second highest one was is this London GT? No, the Welsh Open, where I was in second place with Vampire Counts.
Your own Vampire Count army?
Team Wales Vampire Count army that I borrowed. Yeah, okay, so that's second place. And in third place was the London GT with Cathay.
And you painted that one up really quickly, I guess, to get it ready for...
It was painted quickly, yes. by the people who owned it. That was borrowed from Brian and Callum. So yeah, thank you very much for bringing that up. And then in fourth place, we have the Old World GT back in April, where I played Russ on the top table with Warriors. Now that is an army that I own. That was actually my own painted army. Okay, so one of the results that I have had this year was in fact with an army that I own. So at least there's that. But it was a challenge that I set myself to have, to take different armies to events. Hence why I've had to borrow them. Oh crap! Callum's calling me out that actually one of my models was borrowed. Damn it! Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Actually, the Warfire Dragon that I had at that event was not mine. Okay, so maybe I can't win an event unless I borrow armies from my mates. So the question is going to be, what am I going to borrow for? What am I going to borrow for the Masters? Running out of mates' favors. At this rate, people are lending me Skaven, ogres, lots of very top tier armies.
Yeah, I guess the sort of trade off though is you compare borrowing armies and doing well with them to playing the same army
Yeah.
At a bunch of events. People have done well with both, and probably having gone through the Masters, it looks like the more common approach is to play one army pretty much all the time and master it. And you've taken the other approach, which is to attempt to master the game.
Yeah, I guess I've tried to complete the full game by taking one army at a time, starting with the good ones. Yeah, I mean
it's going to get increasingly harder now that you have to borrow some lizard men at some point.
At some point, but that's there's 20 different races now or something, so it'll take me a little while before I get to that stage. I still probably have another couple of good podiums in me before I get that. So I have tried to do different armies. I have tried to see what sort of flavor sort of tickles me. To see what happens, but to be honest, a lot of the time that has been down to the comp pack. So for Toy Soldier, I had a look at it and I went, I want an army that's maneuverable and has a lot of unit strength, and Exiles being like a good choice, so I went with that. And then I basically just tried to do a different army to each event since then. So I did, we did a small online event where I took Seaguard, I took Cathay, Brett, Vampires, another event where I've done Cathay there as well, and yeah, I'd like to see what will be strong under it, and I think for me, it's probably going to be Skaven. It's probably going to be Skaven at the Masters. Yeah, I'm going to take a warp log to sales list that's going to catch everybody off guard. Provided that I can find somebody to lend me the models. That's the only caveat.
And you would never go back on your word, of course. So this is now locked in.
It's locked in. It's guaranteed. Guaranteed. But if it wasn't Skaven, on the off chance I can't find the models and I find something else instead, I think, to be honest, it'll be probably Cathay. I've certainly enjoyed some of aspect of the Cathay, not the mega balloon lists. That was quite a horrendous experience. But I have enjoyed playing around.
So you're also not. You're also going to commit to not taking any balloons to the Masters.
It depends if I can paint, borrow, or steal any between now and the event. And at the moment, it doesn't look like any of those are realistic options. So it might genuinely come down to what I reckon I can field on the day and not be completely shamed by the society for it.
Well, I've got 2 balloons you can borrow, but if you think that you're not going to get shamed for borrowing models, that's definitely
I don't think I'll be able. I don't think I'll be able to live it down. Maybe my New Year's resolution for next year should be paint a fucking army and use it. Stick to one army. But yeah,
I do have 2 balloons and I'm definitely not using them. So just let me know.
Don't tempt me, Frodo. Don't tempt me. All right. Okay. Well, enough about me. Let's talk about the man who's dominated the UK ranking, certainly in the latter half of the year. I believe he's up there in the world rankings as well, and it's Keith Wilkinson. Keith is another blast from the past. Him and I have not played in Old World, but we have played back in we played quite a bit back in the 8th edition days. You know, hovering around about the same sort of tournament scene. He was sort of playing high elves that when I last remember him, but he has been pretty much balls deep into vampires recently. Although obviously his most recent result was wood elves, and he did in fact show us that maybe he does know how to play the game. You know, if he does, you know, actually manage to get a win with something other than filthy vampires. But he has, in fact, almost all of his events end up in a podium, and it's mostly first or second place. Apart from a couple of low placing wood elves. Well, that's wood elves and vampire counts. Let's have a little look and see what qualified him. So his highest event was the Forgotten North back in November. We saw him win that on stream. That was vampire counts. Vampire counts, vampire counts, vampire counts, 1, 2, and 3. Oh god, yeah, vampire count domination here. His second highest one was Black Country GT in April, which was also won with vampire counts, mortuary cult, and warriors in second and third. His third ranking one was the Black Country GT, where he came second. That was with Wood Elves. So that was the most recent one. That was probably sorry, I think I said he won that, but he didn't. When you come second with Wood Elves, it almost feels like a win, right? Especially in the modern day. And his fourth event was the Toy Soldier event, where he came second, just below me. And I remember Keith and I talking about it. I think the difference between first and second was something like 50 victory points or something ridiculous. And I think, to be honest, he did say that he might have miscounted earlier on in the rounds with his scoring as well. So that could have been one that he kind of gave to me. So my claim to this is Keith has never finished higher than me at an event that we both attended, but we've also never played in Old World. So I'm looking forward to correcting that when it comes to I hope to play Keith. I think that'll be a great event to do that.
The Masters gives you a good chance as well, because the field's quite small. So
yeah.
chance for some big seeded pairings in the early rounds even.
Yeah, definitely. And
yeah, unfortunately, go on.
Well, I'm just thinking. I mean, we can talk about the whole field here. I think we should just finish off with Keith. I mean, are we expecting him to take VC, right? Like he's not going to be cockswinging the old Wood Elves. I mean, it's possible, but I that would be very ballsy. I think VC is his strongest path to victory.
It might also, and we haven't really talked about this, but some of it might depend on what people's motivations are.
True.
If Keith is sort of like dusting his hands, being like, rank number 1, won a couple of 100-point events,
yeah,
don't need to prove myself at the Masters, or winning the Masters with a broken army would be impressive, no matter who does it. But
yeah,
if you're already feeling pretty happy with your year, maybe you do want that challenge of doing it with Wood Elves, and just really trying to set the degree of difficulty at another level.
that would be impressive.
And it's something that I would, I would potentially do and have done in the past. In fact, in the old Australian Masters, where would take. I took Wood Elves to an event with a Forest Dragon back in the olden days, because it was kind of to prove a point. Like, I think this is good, even in the Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Let's see if it's competitive.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, we should really mention Keith is a former Warhammer Master himself. He has won the Masters before, back in the 8th edition days. I don't specifically remember the year. It's probably like 1993, when we were nothing but a glint in the milkman's eye. But Keith has won the Masters before, so he has got priors, and he's had a very solid set of results.
I was going to make jokes about him just being another player who can't win without vampires, but then he goes and comes second with Wood Elves. So and also a bit like with Mark as well, where it's such a massive pivot for someone that I thought of as a vampire player, and then they take a really mobile combat army and still do really well with it. So maybe it's not just vampires carrying him all the way.
No, maybe not. I mean, it's entirely possible that the person who's dominated the top of the rankings actually knows how to play the game. I mean, there's not a zero chance that is true. But maybe maybe you're wrong on that, but I think VC are probably, if he wanted to win it, VC are his best path to victory. But he might surprise us and take something worth proving. And that really sort of rounds out our top 24. Now, this is the top 24 that stand at the moment. However, we have mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly about 6 players on that top 24 that have either refused or have sort of missed the deadline to accept their place at the Masters, and those will be passed on to the next rung of players. And I know there's a lot of conversations going about with who can and cannot make it, and there's a whole bunch of people who are in the top sort of 30 or could even, in fact, I think the latest is that an invitation has gone out to number 38, which is Nicky Buckets of French WTC fame. So it's entirely possible that we'll see some upsets in those other, lower ranked players who haven't quite ranked higher, and they might bring something wild and crazy that we won't see. But let's just
Oh, imagine if the British Masters is taken down by the French. That would be just chef's kiss.
I think if that were to happen, we would basically just never acknowledge it. We would just have to bury that information somewhere in the pits of the internet. Definitely not something that I mean, it could happen. Has Nick won an event ever? Let's delving deep into Nicholas's. No, no, he has not won an event, but he has podiumed a few times. So maybe this is it. Maybe this is his event. Maybe the dark horse of the Masters will be somebody who's outside of the top 24, and that's exactly who will take it home. That would be a very interesting upset because, like you say, I think it's going to be a lot of tight games, right? Such a Shark Tank players,
and that's also how the Hollywood movie would go as well. Someone who thinks they've missed out at the last gasp, and then the golden ticket arrives. They get the call up, and then just 6, and someone's dragon runs off the table, and they win the tournament.
That would be quite interesting, and I think that's going to be. So this is how I think it will be. Like there's so many really good players here that I think the first round pairings are probably going to set the pace. And if you have any big wins in the first round, I think they're going to, because each round will subsequently get more and more difficult. And I think the final placings will probably come down to tiebreakers. Will come down to the tiniest margins of victory. So I think it's entirely possible that whoever wins the Masters might not even be in the top 3-4 tables, because all of those in the last game might be very tight games, and then somebody from table 5 gets a big win somehow, gets lucky, and manages to leapfrog everybody. It could be Nick, for all we know. It could be it could be anyone really at this rate.
Yeah. And I think the other thing as well is when people are playing super tight games on the top tables, the people on tables like 3, 4, 5 know they need the big win.
Yeah.
So coming third or fourth is creditable.
Yeah.
But you want to win. So
of course,
the stops come out. You take the Hail Marys and see what happens, and that can be lead to a lot of fun and exciting games. But the other thing that having such a tight field where everyone is already very good, the other effect that has is it makes matchups really important as well.
Yeah.
You're not going to have a big skill edge that you might more often in an open field. So if you've got a bad matchup, that's going to be just harder to overcome than it might normally be. So picking the right army, the right list, covering up the holes, bringing the right tools for the job, the tech pieces, your no-fly banners, your anti-stomp banners, those kind of things are all going to be really important decisions people have.
Yeah, I think so. And I think if you're one of these players who's looking to do really well at this event, you're looking at the field and you're looking to see what plays well into that. I mean, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 VC possible VC players, 1, 2, 3 Tomb King players. So that's like 8 undead, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 Cathay maybe, and then a good smattering of warriors, beastmen, and Bretonians, with the odd single one that I'm expecting of Chaos Dwarves and Isles, etc. So every game is going to be against those sort of top tier armies, the top 4 or 5 armies in the game, played by somebody who's either been playing that army for the whole entire edition or for the whole entire season, or somebody who is just a really competent player that's able to take on a variety of different armies and bring them to the fore. So it's gonna be a tough weekend. It's gonna be fun though. I'm really looking forward to the social aspect of it. We're both gonna be there on the Friday night, getting in those. I'm looking forward to those double pints that I've heard so much about. Getting a couple of those in, and yeah, definitely making a good run of it. Any predictions you fancy making at this stage? Maybe what armies are we going to see in the podium, or what army do we think is going to take out, or if you fancy putting your name to who you think might be in the top, even taking it out altogether.
So I think there's 2 picks that stand out for me for taking the event down. I think my first cheeky pick is Scott with Tomb Kings. Just in that I think, I think he has builds that he's played a bunch that don't really care about the composition. Cathay struggle to get points out of them, and those big blobs, people are going to commit because they need to win games to do well, and that's how Scott's kinds of lists tend to work. If you commit to them, they take you off. So that's one of my picks, and the other one, of course, is me. That's just because I think you have to call the shot in advance, so that if it pays off, then you get you get to say, I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, so that's mostly why it's to make sure I've got the upshot of calling the shot if it does in fact work. But my other pick, and this is mostly based off my guess of how the meta game shakes out, is that I think Scott would be a good shout.
Yeah, that's fair.
What about yourself?
So, I mean, looking at it, the interesting thing is some of the picks that I had for doing really well have actually not accepted their invite. So some of the people that have declined are actually really strong players that I think could have been in contention for the running. So looking at who is left, I think you have to consider, obviously, Keith. Him being the top ranked player at the end of the year, having been a master before, he has priors, definitely. But I would actually think Keith will finish second at this event because I just have an inkling that and then of course it'll be because he plays me in the final, and I'll pip him to the win, and it'll just be myself first and Keith second. That's my prediction. Maybe in the final match done. He is my final boss of 2025, and I'm very much looking forward to taking him down on that. But maybe it'll be an upset. We'll get a draw, and then you'll just leapfrog both of us because you'll smash somebody, some chump on table whatever in the final round. And I look forward to having you there on the podium and accepting you as our Lord and Savior or Warhammer.
It'll be that I'll be drawn to play Jack Toll on table 4, and then the venue will realize he's underage. It's a licensed venue, and just kick him out.
And it's an automatic 20 win. Boom, you win. Exactly. Yeah, I think he's 9 years old. That kid. Keeps getting younger every time. 9 3/4. Just like Harry Potter. So yeah, definitely. So no, and that's it. That pretty much runs out our top 24 and who we think will be present, what armies they'll be taking, and who has in with a shot to win it. It's going to be a really good weekend. We'll do some more coverage of the weekend as it goes through. Pretty much after that, I think. I mean, we're expecting the new FAQ to drop. That's going to be quite exciting. I really can't wait to see how that changes things. Obviously, with the new items that the latest Warriors of Chaos Arcane Journal brings out, that's going to be really good fun. And that's going to be the next step forward there. So
exciting
I think
times.
It is exciting times. 2026 is going to be fun. 2026 is going to bring a new meta. It's going to bring a big FAQ change. I'm hosting an online tournament starting in the beginning of February, which will be using all the new FAQ drops. So feel free to join that, folks. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to seeing what 2026 brings, and good luck to everybody. Thank you very much for all of you who have joined us today and sat through the technical interruptions. Those of you who have, joined this channel so far this year, do the usual thing. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a comment. I always appreciate those. And if you really want to support us more of it, then yeah, we have a channel membership, and I will happily take your money if you want to give it to me. That's never been a problem.
You can also head on over to the Dwellers Below, click on a video from 2023, and ask us why we haven't uploaded anything yet.
I'm going to do that right after this video. I'm going to comment and be like, looking forward to your next video drop. Can't wait for Dwellers 2025 episode. Yeah, that'll be exciting. But any other shout outs at your end?
There probably are supposed to be some, but not off the top of my head. Just the Dwellers Below, the Dwellers Below, at the Dwellers Below.
Exactly. Dwellers Below. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us in the chat, and we will see you on the next episode. All the best. Cheers, folks. Bye-bye.